Ivy Moon, High Priest and High Priestess of the Southern Delta Church of Wicca, ATC in Lake City, Arkansas.
Microphone, yeah.
Is that better? Am I? There you go. Shall I start over? All right. Welcome to this panel on how to start a community garden and a food pantry. I am Reverend Terry Riley. This is Reverend Ivy Moon. We're from the Southern Delta Church of Wicca, ATC in Lake City, Arkansas, way down low here. We started a community garden and stuff about 3 years ago, and we've had a great deal of success with it. I'm going to let Ivy turn it over to Ivy now to give you a little history of what we've been doing and stuff, and then we'll get down to the nitty-gritty of how to, in case you're want to know how to do it. Okay, here you go.
Thanks. So we are a part of the Aquarian Tabernacle Church, which is a worldwide organization. And we have noticed that there is a lot of hungry people, a lot of food deserts, and low income and no income that have a very hard time getting healthy food because junk food is so much more inexpensive than healthy food, right? So we wanted to figure out how to feed these people starting on a community level, because as a small group, it's hard to do a national-wide thing. And the easiest way is for each community to help themselves. So we started a small garden. So because we're Wiccan, we didn't really have a lot of people that liked us in our community because we have a whole bunch of Christians. And we liked the Christians, they just didn't like us. So we wanted to be able to help the community and them to accept it. So we found also the best way is to feed people because everybody is hungry. So we got a little plot of land. We started in our parking lot, actually. We took half our parking lot and made it into a community garden. And we made just a little small food stand across from our church in the parking lot so that when they wanted food, they didn't actually have to stop and talk to us. And so that seemed to really help. And we would put the vegetables on there and they were free. You didn't have to come talk to us, you didn't have to come to our services. We just wanted to be able to feed the community. So after that, it seemed to help everybody come together as a community, and we got another plot of land and did more and more. And then we opened a food pantry, and we went to our local food bank, and they have been helping us so much. We opened it, and we have started out with like 2 or 3 families at first, not knowing whether they needed to come to services to get food or what they had to do to get food. Once they realized that it's just free food, it doesn't matter what you do. If you're hungry, come to us and we will help you. And we feed over 600 families now. So it's all about getting the communities together. There are people that are helping in the community. They will bring food when they have extra food. They will put food on the vegetable stand. And so when you start something, it doesn't matter whether you get along with the community or belong to the community at first. It's all about feeding and helping grow as a community. So now our entire community is helping us feed them. So it really is about getting all of the religions together and helping feed America one step at a time. So now we have a bigger plot of land and we are expanding. And this is all thanks to the community coming together and helping each other. So it's not about feeding the entire world at one time, because we're always thinking, how can we, feed the world and as hungry as it is? And it all starts on an individual basis, all with our community, no matter how small you are, a backyard garden, a sidewalk garden. It doesn't really matter. Just as long as we're helping the community and we're giving our food freely, this helps the spirits. It helps the people who feel like they have nothing. It gives them that self-worth to go out and make their lives better. That work?
That works for me, but it works for you. We did some research before I came here today so I could have some numbers. According to the statistics of 2023, worldwide there are 345 million people on the face of the earth that are have food insecurities or hungry. Now that's a large number. And unless you've done the research, there's a little over 330 million people in the United States. So if you can imagine, everyone in the United States, that amount of people that are hungry and have food insecurities, that's a big problem, right? Now, you got to break that down. It's like Ivy said, what can we do to end world hunger? Okay, you know, the United Way does a lot of stuff. I mean, they're out there worldwide helping in foreign countries and stuff. But we were just a little church in Arkansas. In our town, there's only about 2,000 people, and we're in a rural community. Okay, well, the reason we started the community garden in the first place is because I had some grandchildren in the grade school, and I was talking to the principal over there. And I asked her, I said, how many kids in the grade school are on free lunches? She said, 2/3. I got to thinking about that, and I said, well, if there's 2/3 of the children on free lunches, that means 2/3 of our community are low income and probably food insecure. So out of 2,000 people, that's about a little over almost 1,300 people. You know. And so we decided to help the community by starting the community garden. And I think the first year we produced something like 800 pounds of food, you know, and got it out to the people. We started delivering it to some of the, you know, low-income families and the urban housing over here, and the elderly. We decided that, because some of the doors we knocked on, they went, no, we don't want none of that stuff. Okay. So I said, you know, it'd be better if we had a vegetable stand. So our church is right on Main Street in Lake City. I said, if we had a vegetable stand, we could just put the vegetables and fruits out there. I said, they could just put a sign up, free produce, you know, come and get it. And that's what we did. And then they didn't have to talk to us or anything like that. They just come by and grab the stuff and go. And that worked out really well. First, we had maybe 10 people a week that would show up for the stand, and then word started spreading, and then we started getting about maybe 20 people a week, okay, and it gets built up. Now, we started this 3 years ago. Started planting stuff, and then, like she said, we got another little piece of property. We started producing more, okay? And before long, I got to noticing if I went down to the quick shop or to the grocery store, the people started talking to us. Said, that's a wonderful thing you're doing over there. You're really helping the community. I said, well, yeah, I want to help the community and stuff. And then something happened in our community. After about 4 or 5 months, more people were coming to the produce stand. And then we noticed that people were stopping and dropping off bags of vegetables or extra food that they had in their refrigerator. And then the community started helping us help the community. That was a great thing, but, you know. And as we were working, people started, I don't know, taking a different concept. You know, I had a little guy come up to me the other day. I walked out to the food pantry, and he said, you know, he said, people got you stereotyped in this town. I said, yeah, I know.
You've noticed, yeah.
Yeah. And he said, no, he said, they really do have you stereotyped. I said, yeah. I said, but you know what I found out? He said, what's that? I said, people don't care about stereotypes when they're hungry. They come get the food. And that's true. He said, you got that right, brother. He carried his groceries out. I have found, I've been clergy for 30 years. In Arkansas, you got to be licensed and ordained and stuff. And somebody asked me, so what's the main requirement and training that you have to be clergy? Now this, I believe this goes to any clergy out there. And this is what I've always told everybody. People don't care how much you know until they first know how much you care. So, putting out a produce stand in Lake City, Arkansas, and not charging, I'm just trying to give the stuff away. You know, people are hungry. And that was the purpose of starting the produce stand. Now, we're going to expand that in, this is not New York, in Lake City, Arkansas. The entire state of Arkansas population is just a little over 4 million people. Well, as of this year, 1.89 million of them are food insecure, so that's nearly half the state, okay? And like I said, we're feeding now 600 people a month. You know, we got a little over 200 families that we're feeding. And that's just basically been done by word of mouth, you know. You know, I've heard people say, hey, go over there. I said, they don't ask you to come to the church. You don't ask, because we don't. You know, it's not a requirement to come to service and stuff. If you're hungry, you come to our food pantry or our produce stand and you're going to get some food. I don't care. You know, that's just what, you know, the way we work it. But we're going to expand it because after we got started and when we got hooked up with the Northeast Arkansas Food Bank, you got to be a 501c3, you know, tax exempt to get hooked up with them. And now we get about 5,000 pounds of food a week, and it costs us about $20 to $25 to get that into the food pantry. And another important thing, you know, a lot of that stuff you get from the food banks are great, but it's just the excess food that the grocery stores and stuff send to the food bank, okay? A lot of it is going to be potato chips, soft drinks and stuff, so it's really not that much of a nutritious food, okay? So what we're also utilizing as well at our gardens is, if you'll see over here, we got a list of stuff you can contact. We're associated with the Save the Seeds Foundation out of Washington. It's a nonprofit that raises heirloom seeds. Now, that way, when we plant in our garden, we're using heirloom seeds to save the seeds, and that eliminates the GMO from the you know, modern corporations and stuff. That, you know, and it's a lot healthier food. So, if you want more information on that, you can go to SaveTheSeedsFoundation.org. About a year ago, one of the church members started looking up grants. And he said, hey, they got a grant that would help expand a food pantry and a community garden. I said, really? He goes, yeah, it's from the USDA. I said, well, yeah, we're 501c3, that was a requirement. I said, go ahead and apply for it. What could it help? In about 4 months, we got a letter saying we'd been approved for a USDA grant to expand a community garden and an existing food pantry for $300,000. Yeah. So now we got, you know, this year we got the, you know, the grant started. Now we got a bigger garden property, but we bought more property. We're going to move. You know, we've been working the food pantry out of a 12 by 12 little building that I built. Now we bought property with an existing building on it. It's a 1-bedroom house, and we can go 4 times the food. You know, our goal is for the past the next 3 years, we're feeding 600 people now, and we got people not only in Lake City from other towns coming to us as well. Our goal, and the goal we put down on the grant, is in 3 years we want to be feeding 4,000. You know, not just in Lake City, but you know, the other surrounding towns as well. Now, here's the deal. Our little church cannot end world hunger. You know, but if everybody would follow the same premise and on a smaller scale do the same thing, we could eventually eliminate world hunger. Now, because if you got millions of small churches, millions of people, nonprofit organizations, I mean, think about this. How many churches have we got in the United States of all denominations and all faiths? If every one of them were producing 5,000 pounds of food to give away per week, we'd eliminate a lot of hunger and food insecurities in the United States. So this is an interfaith, workshop. We're here to say people are suffering. They need help. And we're just giving you some ideas of how we do it down there. Now, advertising. This is basically the first time we publicly spoke about our food pantry and our garden because we've been too busy working it. Now, we do have a YouTube channel. You can go to that. I do have a segment on there that we've been working for 3 years called the Pagan Gardener, and it shows you videos of how we built our pantry, how we, a lot of times before we got a tiller or a tractor, we were working it by shovels and hoes, and how we worked a small land like that. So you can go on our YouTube channel and look up the segment that says Pagan Gardener. I think we got about 50 or 60 videos on there that shows how we worked it from the past 3 years up to where we are now. And it has, I'm gonna tell you right now, you don't have to be a master gardener to do this either. As a matter of fact, I think the very first video out there, so we're learning as we go. Now, trial and error. Okay, you try this, it didn't work. Don't get discouraged. Try something else. We pulled up a carrot one time that looked like a little person. I went, I don't know what that is, but we eat it. It was good. We've had things show up out there that, and then you just experiment. If you got, when you till up your ground for the first time, or if you're planting out of pots, that's easy. You can go buy the soil and stuff to put it in there. But if you're working in the ground, and your ground needs amendments, it hadn't been plowed for a while and stuff. There's ways to do that. Now in Arkansas, we grow cotton, and we have cotton gins all over the place. We got one cotton gin just outside of Lake City, and when they run it through the gin, all these cotton hulls and excess stuff is spit out of the thing, so they have this mountain of cotton hulls, and they give it away to anybody who wants. Well, we go get trailer loads of that stuff, lay it on top of the soil in the middle of the winter, and let it rot, and then fill it under. It makes great amendments, and it's free. All you gotta do is just go get it. So check around your towns and stuff, or you might even start a little committee. If you're not doing your own composting, you can go around and get the neighbors to gather stuff for you to help you in bag-gallon buckets to go back and put on your compost pile. If you can get everybody excited about what you're doing, and they see that there's progress going on, then people are willing to help you, even if you're Wiccan in the middle of the Bible Belt. I mean, I'm going to tell you, the people in Lake City are excited about what we're doing. Now, not everybody's going to be happy with anybody, whatever they're doing. There's always going to be critics out there. But I think they have come to say, we don't really agree with the Wiccan's religion, but they're doing good work. They're helping us. The true value of any church organization is what you can give back to the community, because that's what churches do, no matter what faith they are. So we want to give back. We even have an adopt a highway program. We go clean that up 4 times a year. People care about helping you when they see how much you can care, how much you can give back to the community. And we've been working in Lake City now. The church has been in that area. The church has been around for 30 years, but we've just been 15 years in Lake City. And we built a working relationship with the community. It's taken a while, and we're going to expand it from that. So, what time is it? Okay. Got a few more minutes before we'll turn it over to Blake. I get great pleasure helping people. It's a lot of hard work. I'm not here to kid anybody. Running a pantry and running some gardens and stuff, you got to have a lot of volunteers. I mean, we got some great people in the church. We got a garden coordinator who's fantastic. He's excited because he's finally got a tractor from the grant. He don't have to do it all by hand. He's great, Lynn Garrison. We got a facility manager out there that's working his tail off, trying to keep the engines running and everything going. So we got a lot of great volunteers. But even if you're sitting in an apartment building in Chicago, I've seen things where you can take a refrigerator. I don't know if you have to get a permit or not, but I've seen it in New York, and I've seen another thing. You can take an old refrigerator, set it out on the sidewalk, run an extension cord to it, put a sign up, food exchange, and you can just take your food and put it in a refrigerator and give it away, and then people will bring food to it, and it will work. Because once people understand the process of giving, receiving, and everybody helping one another, they are compelled to start contributing. We got people that come out, and I sit there in the church and I see them pull up and they got grocery bags. And sometimes they're not sure, so they'll come knock on the door and say, I got all this extra stuff in my freezer. We even had a guy show up because we're in the South, and he brought deer meat. He was deer hunting. I got this. I said, yeah, man, yeah, we'll use it. I don't care. People are hungry, but it's about getting people. I can get here all day long and give you the logistics, the numbers, and this, that, and the other, and that's great. We get this, excited about doing this stuff, and it's an intellectual decision, and this, that, and the other. And then we jump out there and we get excited about doing this stuff. And then we notice how difficult it is. Wow, I'm gonna spend a lot of time doing this. It's taking up a lot of my energy. It's a lot of hard work doing this stuff. And it is. But once it leaves, that's an intellectual and a mental decision when you decide you want to jump in. Okay? Once it leaves the mind and enters into the heart, then it becomes a heart decision. And that's a whole new ballgame. Because when I see a young mother coming into the food pantry with 3 little children that are hungry, and she tells us how much she appreciates that because she don't have another check or any way of money coming in for the next 2 weeks, and this is the only way she has to feed her children. I don't care how hard I got to work. I don't care how difficult it is. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing it. And that's what brings people together. It's not the fact that, it's caring about people. Caring about, and there is no restriction when you come. We're here to help what you need. If you're hungry, we're going to feed you. And there's not a greater satisfaction, I don't care what faith you are, than helping your fellow human beings on the face of the earth. And you know what? When you get into that kind of mix, that kind of overrides religion. That kind of overrides any prejudice. That kind of overrides everything. It makes us more human to each other. And that's what we're trying to build. That's what this workshop's really about. It's how to start a community garden and a food pantry, but it's about getting people excited about doing it. You can do it if you got 5-gallon buckets. You got a small back porch in an apartment. You can put 4 or 5 of them out there and grow tomato plants. They'll grow right out of a bucket. Okay. And if you got excess, find a local pantry, give it to them. Or donate. Even if you can't start your own food pantry, if you got 5 or 6 gallon buckets and you got extra food that you're growing on your back porch, take it to the ones that's already set up. Then you're supporting them. It all goes to the same purpose. Okay. I don't know. I think I'm going to stop talking now so much and open the floor up. We've got 30 minutes. Plenty of time for any of y'all have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
I know it'll depend very much on where you are, what kind of food you want to grow, but is there a sort of good place to start? How did you decide what to grow first?
in Arkansas. Where are you from, man?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. And you're in the city?
Yeah, I'm in West Philadelphia. There's actually a community garden next, like at the end of my block that's been
Oh.
abandoned, and so I'm trying to figure out how to sort of restart it.
Oh, okay. Well, here's what you do. Where we're at, anyway, it's all Southern folks. Southern cuisine. Okay. So I already knew when we started the garden down there, they're going to like tomatoes. Everybody likes tomatoes. But in our neck of the woods, they like squash because we make squash fritters. People do a lot of pickling, so they're going to use cucumbers and stuff like that. Zucchinis. I make a great zucchini squash fritters. Makes a combination. So you look at the regular cuisine now. It's all cultural. I know if I go to Philadelphia, I'm going to be disappointed because I'm not going to find frog legs and I'm not going to find, the stuff I'm used to eating. But if you look at where you're at in your community, you could take a little survey. What do y'all like to eat all the time? I'm talking about opening up this thing down here. What would benefit you if we started growing it down here that you could use and have access to? And that way it gives you an idea of what to start planting with. Yeah, tomatoes, you can't go wrong with tomatoes. They're worldwide. Just put you some tomato plants out there, you'll get rid of them. Yes, sir.
How difficult was it to get land?
To get the land? The church already had some, we had a parking lot. It wasn't paved and it wasn't gravel, it was just, we bought a parking lot across the street from the church. And when we decided to do this, we took a 20-foot, the back half of the parking lot, 20 foot out from the fence, and it was about 70 foot long. And that's how we started with that piece of property. And then we acquired another 20 foot by 80 foot plot down the street. I went on Zillow, and it had that listed. And we got that piece of land. Now we're in Arkansas, a lot cheaper in Arkansas than it is in New York and Philadelphia. We got that second plot of land for $1,300, outright. The first plot of land, we got the entire parking lot for $4,000, but we're in Arkansas. But what you can do is go on Zillow, and a lot of times they will have stuff listed in your area for sale, okay? And then look at the bargains they have on there. If you look at building restrictions, it helped us out because when we got that 20 foot by 80 foot plot down the street, I needed water on it. So I went to the mayor. I said, look, it don't even have a street address. I just purchased this lot. And I said, I need to get water on there because we're going to use it for the community garden. I said, I can't build on it because it's only 20 foot wide. He said, that's not a problem. He goes, we'll just give you a 911 number and put you a meter in out there. It cost you about $450. I went, great, let's do that. And now that's how we water the garden down there. Yeah, look around on Zillow and other things like that because a lot of times they just sell land and it's by the person individually. So they're selling for someone. And somebody might have a piece of ground that they can't do anything with. It'll be great property for looking at doing a community garden or any kind of garden property.
So just quick follow-up. So you didn't have a lot of restrictions on the land because in some areas there's just laws that won't let you do this stuff. So
Find out why you had to do it.
yeah, it's messed up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you'll have to check with your local ordinances and stuff before you purchase the land because if you buy a piece of land and then you block it, and then you just wasted your money. Look at your local ordinances, the city, the county, and sometimes even the state. But yeah, look at if the ordinances are going to cause you too much problem. So you need to know what your legal laws and rights are in that area before you purchase the property. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I came late, so maybe I missed this, but I'm wondering what your relationship is with Save the Seeds.
The Save the Seeds Foundation is started by we're an affiliated congregation of the Aquarian Tabernacle Church, as she said earlier. They're a worldwide organization. The Aquarian Tabernacle Church has about, I think, somewhere around 30 to 35 affiliated independent churches, which we happen to be one. They also have, and we go by the nickname ATC, ATC Canada, ATC Ireland, Italy, South Africa, Australia. So the Save the Seeds Foundation is a subsidiary, completely separate from the church. But the church founded the Save the Seeds Foundation, a nonprofit. Okay, and it's registered as a nonprofit and everything. So yeah, you go to the website, it's got all the information on there. And they only produce heirloom seeds. Yeah, it's not like some of the GMOs, genetically modified stuff. Now, I think this, here, I did a little video, if you go to the Pagan Gardener on our tube. Years ago, when I was growing up in Arkansas, my dad picked cotton for a living, back before they had combines. And I remember walking behind him, and he's dragging his cotton sack, and the cotton was over his head. And he was having to pick the cotton. Every cotton field, it was 6 foot tall cotton. If you drive by any cotton field in Arkansas now, they're only about 3 foot tall. Why is that? Because the combine, if you got rid of the manual labor of the hand picker, the combines will not run through 6 foot cotton. So over the years, they genetically modified the cotton seed so it only grows up to a 3 foot thing now. Okay, and every other seed out there that comes from a corporation or government like that has been modified, genetically modified. Like you take a GMO tomato and save the seeds out of it, put them in the ground, you won't get a tomato because they are genetically modified not to reproduce. If you buy it out of a store or something like that. The heirloom seeds, if you save the seeds and you put them, they will produce an identical of the mother plant. Okay, so you're going to have seeds every year, and they're not been messed with by the government or any corporations and stuff like that, and been messed with. So we only Save the Seeds Foundation only uses heirloom seeds.
Is that where you source seeds from?
Yes, you can. If you're working a small garden, you can save your own seeds. Yeah, that's what everybody's getting back to now. But see, the government, they really don't want you to do that because that takes away all their money. And here's the difficult part: if you want to go back to heirloom seeds, it's getting the farmers to start using it. They have to buy all their seed from the government. Now, and I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of corporations out there and some members in our government that are poisoning us. And we need to get back to more natural, healthy, nutritious food. Okay, so but a lot of the farmers in Arkansas, they have to buy their seed from the government or from a big corporation, and they're not heirloom seeds. Why would the government give you an heirloom seed when you could save your seed and not have to buy no more from them? So does that answer your question, man? Yes.
All right, I have 2 questions. One, what do you do with all the, I call it junk food, like the chips and the soda? Do you put it out there?
No, we don't put it on the stand. The stand is just for the produce, the vegetables and stuff we grow. We do put it in the pantry, and the people come. See, when you run a food pantry, if you're signed up with the food bank, you have to keep track of how many people your stuff and stuff like that. Now you get to order the stuff from the food bank, but a lot of it's free. You don't have to pay for it.
Right.
So if you get on there and you're ordering from the food bank, and you say, okay, I get all these canned goods for 14 cents a can, okay, but they got 60 cases of Pepsi that's free, but you gotta find a happy compromise. We want healthy food, but I don't want people starving to death. You're gonna tell the guy that's starving to death, going, "Hey, help me out!" And he's taking his last breath. I'm sorry, all I got's a Twinkie, but that's unhealthy for you. You're gonna feed the people if they need it with what you got. If we ever get to the point where we can only purchase for the food pantry, the healthy stuff, we will. But at this point right now, we have to take what is donated to the food bank. Okay, we try to get all the healthy stuff we can from the food bank, but I don't want to turn people away. When we open up, we only do this every Thursday. our food bank's open once a week on Thursday. And it opens at 10 a.m. We run it till 1:30, take a break, and then we go from 4 to 6. Okay. At 9:30, people start lining up with the cars. Okay, so now we have about 50 people waiting at the door before we open up on Thursday morning. And we've only got X amount of pounds of food to give away. There's been a lot of days that we couldn't do the afternoon session because we ran out of food, you know. So you got to find a happy compromise until we, like we talked about earlier, if we want to change the world, if we get away from, you know, all this junk food and stuff. But as long as people are buying it, they ain't going to stop producing it. Yeah, so we find a happy compromise. If I give you a Pepsi, I make sure you get a bunch of natural grain candy bars to go with it. You know, the best we can do. That's all you can do.
So the other question is how do you fund this?
How do you fund it?
Fund it.
Well, church, we work it off with donation. We don't pass the plate per se, but like what we needed was the produce stand. I calculated up. I'm a carpenter. You know, we built the produce stand, but I calculated up that the material to produce that was going to cost about $900. So I put a post out on Facebook and on our church page. Hey, we want to build this produce stand to help feed the people in there, and I give the, you know, I put out a call, and we started getting donations because we have a PayPal, and you know, we have all these ways to donate to the church. There was a lady out of Canada that called me. She goes, "You wanting money to build this produce stand?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, we are." She goes, "How much you raised?" I said, "I got about half of it so far." And she said, "Well, I think you're doing wonderful work over there, Terry." And she sent me the rest of the money to finish it out. So here's what I also learned too about people. People are always wanting to be a part of something greater than themselves. Okay, so if you're out here doing good work, but here's another thing too, they won't give it to you unless you ask for it. Yeah. So we kind of ask when we need donation stuff. I ask for it, you know, and I also post on Facebook our progress. You donate $20 to our church, here's where that $20 went, and I got proof and evidence. This is what we're doing with it, you know. All the books and everything's open, yes. Yeah, she reminded me of this stuff. We also have people, we have a donation box at the food pantry with a big sign that says, "Donations are not required, but they will be accepted." So sometimes people do drop money in there, okay, not a whole lot, you know, but we do get donations that way. We do raffles. You know, when we do our yearly celebrations, we have a raffle up, and we will tell everybody all the money that's produced from this raffle goes to the food pantry, you know, and we'll raise anywhere from $300 to $400 off the raffle that buys food to the pantry and stuff. So you get ingenuous on how, you know, but people don't mind giving you money if they can see where it goes. You know, got to be transparent with it. You know, as soon as that lady sent me that money and I got all the money, within a week we had the produce stand built, painted. I put pictures on Facebook and I sent it to her. I said, "Thank you, ma'am, very much for helping me get this produce stand up." So, all right, any other questions? Way back to back, you're going to have to speak up.
I'm going to try. You told us about your YouTube, Pagan Gardener. What is your other social media presence?
I got them listed up here. We have a website, and we have the YouTube channel, we have Facebook. I'm on just about everything out there, but that's me personally. I haven't done Twitter in a while because I don't like Elon. But I'm more on Facebook and stuff, and most of our stuff is run off Facebook and our website. So when we get done here, you can just come up here and take it all down. Yes.
How many people do you have working in the garden and the food pantry, and how many hours a week does the maintenance and stuff take?
people that are volunteer, and they live within walking distance of the church. Okay, we got a garden coordinator. That's Glenn. He works a lot of hours. Okay, but he only works part time. He's kind of semi-retired from the military, but he works probably, I'd say, 20 hours a week or more in the gardens and stuff. His wife, Sarah, runs a food pantry. She does all the ordering, she does all the inventory, and then me and Glenn and 2 other people that go pick it up once a week. Now here's another good thing. If you hook up with a food bank, they will help you. When we first opened up, we got a little 12 by 12 building. The lady up there, when we signed up, says, "Hey, do you need a freezer?" "Yeah." She goes, "I got a food pantry shutting down over here. They need to get rid of the equipment." So we went over there and got the freezer and brought it back to us. Then, just last year, she goes, "Hey, would you like a covered trailer to carry the food back and forth? Or we're just picking it up out of a pickup." She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah." So they gave us a 7 by 14 covered trailer from the Northeast Arkansas Food Bank, and signed the title over to us. Said, "Just come get it," you know. And so if you sign up with a local food bank that's registered nationally, they will do everything possible to help you succeed. You just call them if you're having any problems, and they'll do whatever they can to help you. So, any other questions? Yeah. Yes, back in the back of the white shirt.
Hello.
Hello.
Terry, Ivy, what a wonderful presentation. You know, I know y'all, and it was nice to hear it from start to finish. And it reminded me of a lot of things because I was very active in Flint during the water crisis.
Right.
During the water crisis, as a community, we came together. Food security was second only to water security. My husband works in food systems and yada and yada. What we discovered, and I really hear what you're saying,
Right.
when the food bank gives, what the food bank does often is it'll give you like 1,500 head of cabbage, right?
They've done that to us, yeah.
And yeah, cabbage is a big one. And what we found is people are like, I don't like cabbage, right? And so we had to incorporate cooking classes into, which is not a solve, but it's like you're saying, it's a intervention in, right? So I'm just wondering if you have ever thought about that, or are you incorporating any sort of like.
Sarah actually does the cooking classes that we do have through the church, you know, and she, you know, of course, she's a kitchen witch, so she does all that stuff. But what I did, good point you brought up about getting, because we have gotten 2,500 pounds of potatoes, you know, and last week or 2 weeks ago, we got something like 1,500 pounds of nectarines. Okay, but what I've done, yeah, and that's produce. It only lasts for a few days. So what I did was, glad you brought that up. I started a Facebook page called Lake City Food Pantry. And when I first started, I had people I knew in Lake City that were friendly with me. I had 30 people on it that signed up. I said, this page is to let everyone know what's going on at our local food pantry, and you can see what we get each week, blah, blah, blah. Well, I checked it last week, it kept growing. You know, we got the pictures on there, and every time we get a load now, because we got 334 local people on that Facebook page, okay? So when we get a big load of tomatoes or anything like that, I post the pictures on there and say, and on the vegetable stand, we've got this many potatoes. First come, first served, come get it. It only lasts 3 days, or we put it out on our sidewalk on the stuff there. Always got to have staff on property. And if we do that now, it's a steady stream of people driving, picking up the stuff. We got 1,500 pounds of nectarines. When I put that post out, everybody on that starts telling everybody else, get over there. So within 1 day's time, we got rid of 1,500 pounds of nectarines because I have a way to contact with the local people now. They come running. So, yeah, it was a good point. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I'm unfamiliar with the Wiccan tradition, so I'm curious, have you integrated this garden and the food pantry into what your church services are? So a similar thing is, I know there are Christian traditions where the church is actually getting together, working in the garden, and doing the same thing, but that's church. So
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if it's integrated in what you do.
Yeah, we do the same thing. We have church work days, for the volunteers of the church who want to come out. But here's the amazing thing. I'm sitting out there, or I'm sitting in the parsonage about a week ago, and I'm looking at the food pantry building across the street, and I see this gentleman about my age and another woman out there walking around with these clippers picking up, I sent one of my assistants, I said, who are they and what are they doing? And that's just local pantry members that come and pick up. They decided to come and help clean up around the thing. And I think their last name was Story. And they just volunteered. And then we've had other people that contacted Glenn, our garden coordinator, and said, we got a fence around the parking lot, and it's hard to weed eat that. So he's volunteered to come over there and take care of the weeding. He wanted to know if it's okay, and Glenn's asked me, I said, yeah, we take all the help we can get. So not only church members, but now you're starting to get members who, not belong to church, but they like what we're doing, and they're volunteering as well. So, it's a win-win all the way around. Yeah. But yeah, we incorporate the church work days. Okay, we're going to be weeding out here today. Anybody has any free time, Glenn handles all that. He advertises and stuff. Or, we'll be planting this day. Now, we do workshops at the church on the herbs, how to plant herbs, how to harvest herbs and stuff like that. Anybody that's interested in learning how to work the vegetables, come out, we'll work with you, So we do incorporate that into the church as well. Yes, ma'am.
I have two questions. The first question is, have you ever explored the community garden model where people have like agency over a plot or a bed, and they can decide what's to grow there, and that's like their bed to work with? And like, does that interest you or
That's a very good question. I'm glad you brought that up. I've got to talk about that. It's not like over in England. Over in England, they have vegetable plots where a piece of ground is sectioned off, and if you want to grow your own gardens, everybody comes and either rents a space and they section it off, and then everybody plants their own stuff in their own garden. Now, that's a very good idea if you're wanting to start a community garden and you don't have the space. If you find somebody with a vacant lot because they're not planning on doing anything, you can, and then invite the community, like you said, to come in and rent a spot, or and section it off. Then everybody grows their own little thing, which also helps the community as well. But if I was going to do that, I would say yes. I got 20 plots here for 20 people to grow stuff. Grow whatever you want, but I would say 10% of it goes back to the community garden to be given away. I wouldn't charge them for planting and working it, other than part of the produce that you produce goes back to the food pantry or to the vegetable stand. That way, if they're not having to pay money for it, they only got to pay what they produce. That gives them more motivation to take better care of the crop. Yeah, that's a good question, though. I like that. What's your name?
what do I think?
What's your name?
Oh, Allie.
Allie. I love you. Great question. Because now you're tapping into my dreams. You know, I want to get to the point to where, yeah, I could produce nothing but organic and heirloom and pay the local farmers next to me to not even use their pesticides so it don't drift over into my stuff. I would love to see that, okay? Now, that's a vision and a dream that I have. I want to get to that point. I'm not there yet. We're not there. We're a long ways from that. But it's a goal, you know? And I can dream big. If these people could tell you, I can dream really big, okay? I learned a long time ago that if you don't have a vision and a purpose out beyond yourself, you'll perish. You know? So one of the main goals that we teach in the church and stuff is, I believe everyone here, when you're born into this earthly walk, into this incarnation, no matter what faith you are, you have a divine destiny. You were put here not just to go to work, do this, do all the mundane stuff, and then at the end of your life, blah, 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 you die, blah, blah, blah. The Creator put you here for a specific purpose of spiritual growth and a destiny. Not everybody finds it in that incarnation. No, but if you can find whatever deity you worship, if you can find out what they want you to do in your life to connect to that deity and to help your fellow men, then you have a purpose out beyond yourself. Something that makes you excited to get up every morning, because you know you're going to be doing something way out that not only affects you, but affects everyone else in the process. That's exciting. Yes, I want to get to where I only have to do these, eliminate all that stuff. Well, I'm going to be 69 next month. I probably got about 20 years left to get that done. At least get it started so somebody can do it after me. So yeah, we're still going to work on that. Great. She's hitting her wrist here telling me we're going to have to quit. So any other questions? I got about 3 minutes before, or is everybody pretty well satisfied? I hope you enjoyed coming today. I hope we give you some valuable information. And come up here and write down, because we're in such a rush to get here. None of us brought any business cards. So I'm sorry about that. But here's, if you could take one thing away from this, I'll tell you what it is. Look at me. I'm not going to put her in this conversation, but look at me. I'm an old redneck from Arkansas, and I've only got an 11th grade education, honestly. I never graduated high school. But if I can do this, anybody should be able to do it, okay? It's not that complicated. You don't have to be a master gardener. You just got to have a charge in your heart. If I can do this, anybody can do it. That's the best thing I want you to take away from here today. So don't get scared. You're going to make mistakes. That's the only way we learn and grow. Make the mistake, learn from it, don't repeat it, keep going. All right, is that it? Hey!